Okay, I said I was just going to take a bunch of still pictures and put it together, but it seems like a little bit more work, so decided to get my tripod instead. So teardown of the 1920 Colt Pre-Woodsman that I picked up at auction. So it was listed as a parts gun, and it so far appears to be complete. Firing pin, spring, mainspring, hammer strut, you name it. I don't think this is factory, but it looks very old. The carving of it, I mean. This is what both sides usually look like from what I've found. Came with the clip. Looks to be in very good condition. It is the early one because of the odd ending of the bluing at that point. And I know from the pattern here it determines if it is capable of using the high velocity 22 rounds or if it has to be the standard velocity. I will have to look it up, but she's all there. A little bit of surface rust on everything, a little bit heavier there. Bluing on the barrel is decent. But I'm going to polish it up. Started doing a little cleaning on that. It's starting to look better. But instead of using an abrasive polish, things like that to start, I thought some WD-40, some nice cleaning pads, and just clean everything up, take it apart, and then start to reassemble. I don't think anybody wants to see me spend half an hour polishing things with WD-40. So, again, this isn't really to clean or polish. This is just to get off the loose stuff, see what it looks like without a whole lot of work. You can use the Hoppy's gun oil as well. This just happens to be what I've got, and it's, once I have it all put together today and inspected and fired, it's going to get torn right down again and go through everything, clean it up nice. This will be the last one I'll be able to buy. Comrade Trudeau has banned the sale of the new guns. I did run the serial number, and it is a 1920. It's in the first 100 of 1920 from what I found. There is some pitting there, so Gonna have to decide down the road if I clean that up and re-blue it, if I just try to soften it, but there is a little pitting there. That is unfortunate, but hey, I got this for about, say I paid about 20% of what it's worth. Once it's assembled and working, that is. Cleaned up a bit. But the barrel seems quite nice. Definitely dirty, but the rifling, I don't know how well you can see that there. Rifling looks pretty decent on first inspection. And it does not look like it's being dry fired, or at least not much. Maybe a little bit there. Nothing I can even feel, so this gun should fire just fine. Okay, I've talked on with bad angles for too long. I'm gonna pause it, finish cleaning this up, and just give a quick wipe down to everything else. And I'll be back in a little bit with the reassembly. I'm not going any farther for takedown. Everything seems to be working nicely. And this is a slide from my M93 Norinco, which I also got at auction, missing a firing pin. And I'm going to do a project where I make one because I cannot find any available. It is a clone of this gun. With Norincos, that doesn't mean everything's interchangeable from what I've found. But very similar, not exact. Little work probably could be made to fit if you had to. All right, I am back. It's no museum piece, but hey, for what I paid for this, the fact that it doesn't seem to be missing anything, I'm quite pleased. So I'm going to do an assembly here. First, I'll need the set screw for the firing pin spring, and the firing pin. Alright, how do I do this? Obviously, you're going to want to line up the tab. So, firing pin and spring, notch, and that's the hole for the set screw. Should probably be talking louder, huh? It was a little difficult to get out. It seemed to hang up a bit. I didn't feel any sharp parts though. Alright, we're back. I was fighting with that firing pin for a little bit, but you gotta just make sure you can push it in a little bit, and once you get that screw in, it's a lot easier. There's a little bit of a, I forget what it's called. It's the screw with the pin on the end, no threads. Anyways, that is back in. Definitely showing its age on the bluing on the slide there. And now is the part I have heard about and I have been dreading. So, this spring with this guide pin needs to get pressed into that space. And this little arm here is activated by this pin on the top. And once you've got it compressed, you've got to push this pin in to catch the end of that. I'm not even going to try to do this while taking a video. I don't need the adult rating for the language I'm going to end up using, I'm sure. So, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, step one. Oh, crap. Step one, don't screw it up. Okay, so apparently steps 1 through 7 for me was screwing it up. Finally got it in there. Luckily, I didn't do any damage to the spring. Good, strong spring. So this is step 1, and step 1 sucks. I've heard step 2 is far worse. This is the state the slide was in, the gun was in when I got it. Just like this. And the grip's on. And I think whoever put it up for auction did not realize that you just have to put this in, clip it in place to assemble it, and they weren't able to assemble it and get it to work, so they figured it was missing parts. But got it at a great price. It's definitely showing its age, but could be better, could be worse. Has some character. Now, step 2. Press that in. Press this button so it pins it in place. Now, I'll be back when that's done. Okay, that went way better than expected. Just a cheapo precision screwdriver and one good solid push. Wish I had gotten that one recorded. So my slide is back together. Put that over there. I tried a few little different things before I found that I thought these might fit over the end. Can we see those here? But I couldn't have gotten it in far enough. I didn't even try. Okay, so now, story of my life. Back to square one, but a little bit cleaner. Just grips. So I think this one grip, yeah, I'd say this one grip has been replaced. Somebody made an interesting custom grip. I'm gonna just clean these up a little bit. There's some wear on it. This was a gun that was used, so I like the character on it. I'll be honest with you, I think I might try to match the stain. I don't have the greatest lighting in here, but match the stain, and then with the Dremel, do the same diamond shape. It's not original, but it's original to how I got it. And this is, I wouldn't say this is something done even in my lifetime. So I'm going to clean those up nicely. Just clean that up a little bit. Brass brush. Maybe a little bit of vinegar to get rid of the rust. Just clean that up lightly. All right. I'm going to put everything aside and start cleaning the grapes up. Okay, I got, whoa, magnet tray. I got everything cleaned up. There's actually just a bit of surface rust on there. Still not 100%, but it's barely pitted. It's an old gun. Again, gives her some character. Slides together. That is the first thing to go on. These I just cleaned up slightly, nothing major. But let's see how this goes for me. If I remember correctly. Okay, looking for the side with wear because that's a magazine catch, so release. So it goes in just, sure you don't have it over the hammer strut. Let's see how this side goes then. Trying to get the hammer strut into that. Oh, did I get that? Oh. Try her again. I'll be back in a minute. All right. So there is a trick to this. You got to get that hammer strut on your mainspring. There we go. The hammer had to fall down before we can get it to that, and then snap it in place. That took a few attempts. I'm going to take a break. All right, going to get the grips on now. Sticking with the grips that I got with the gun. For now, at least. Not 100% sure if I'm going to refinish this one or just leave it as original as I found it. Just snug that up. And I know you shouldn't dry fire it, but to make sure it works, it's not the end of the world. Magazine goes in nice and smooth, comes out. Well, this was an incredible auction buy, in my opinion. Online auction, and delivered in about a week. Pretty good. Well, I've got another one. Look familiar? This is the knockoff, the M93 Sportsman by Norinco. And it's in nice shape, complete gun. I need the firing pin for it and the firing pin spring. Aside from that, it is complete. Cannot find anybody selling one of these. So I'm thinking about doing a project. I've run little lathes before, poorly run a few big ones. And I think I'm going to try to get myself a small lathe. Little Unimat was an old brand that I've used before. Or maybe hillbilly lathe it with a drill in the vise. See if I can make myself a firing pin. I checked this one, that's why the firing pin was out in this slide, and close, but it's the Woodsman firing pin is a little bit too big, but it does give me a good idea of where to start. So, if anybody's interested, let's get some likes, and I'll do this one next, and I'll do a video of making the firing pin. I've got a few more that I have got to either assemble or disassemble and clean.